Hello, and welcome to the Hambone Show. I'm your host, Trey Bingo. The 2023 season has officially kicked off, and we have your Hambone League news right here today for the very first time this season. And that means it's fantasy football time. So let's get to bringing you the most updated news on this side of the mulberry. Today, we're starting with the much anticipated Hambone Hurry Up, where we bring you the most trusted updates and scores from around the league in less than 5 minutes. Starting with the surprise at the top of our rankings, Bo Chandler and the Wig Splitter, known as the most disgusting and vile team in all of the Hambone League. Wig Splitter is off to the races with a 3-1 start and is currently sitting in first place. Holy jabroni. Nobody saw this coming. Wig Splitter went on a tear, mowing down the Trash Hawks, Bubba Bo, and Barone Sanitation before a disappointing loss to the Tiger Kings in Week 4. GM Bo Chandler has had his team off to the best start in franchise history, but we will need to stay focused if he wants to be king of the hill in this league. Wig Splitter will take on T-Money and the Pro Roofers in our Week 5 matchup. And if you ask us, we have Wig Splitter in a close one, 198 to 185. Coming in at number 2, GM Bo Dutton and Stacked Like Scrooge. GM Dutton has had his team off to a 3-1 start. He'll get Murphy and the Murph Munchers this coming week, and they should be a heavy favorite going into this Week 5 matchup. This team will also need to stay hot if they want to make a run at the playoffs down the stretch. The odds makers have Stacked Like Scrooge projected to win by 19, but, give us Taylor Swift and the Murph Munchers in the upset of the week, 186 to 165. Murph Munchers bring home the W. Coincidentally enough, number 3 is the Murph Munchers and that famous beautiful, beautiful beard of his. Many are calling this team the Swifties after a packed Muncher Stadium was seen singing along to Taylor Swift's greatest hits after their Week 4 win over Deej. All eyes will be on the Murph Munchers during their Week 5 matchup versus Stacked Like Scrooge. And the big question, will these newfound Swifties show up in what many are calling the game of the week? It'll be important that GM Murph keeps Travis Kelce focused if he wants to have any shot against the red-hot Stacked Like Scrooge. Our pick is already in for this one. Number 4 is no other than Barone Sanitation. With wins over Bubba Bo and the 3-1 Murph Munchers, wins like this should be a big confidence boost for Barone Sanitation. Losing Chubb was a big hit, but bada bing, we'll try and shake off the sting and make another run at the playoffs this season. The big question is, can GM Jeremy Gunn win the big one and silence the whispers going around about his team's failures to be able to win that big championship trophy? Bada bing goes into Reynolds Wrap country this week, and we've got Barone Sanitation taking this one 202 to 154. Number 5, yes, coming in at number 5, are last year's champs, the 2-2 T-Money Pro Roofers. With wins over Tiger Kings and Deej, losses to Stacked Like Scrooge and Trash Hawks, T-Money will be looking to get back in the win column this week as the most vile team in the league. Wig Splitter comes into town a little bit pissed off after dropping a close one to the Tiger Kings in Week 4. Both of these teams will try and get back in the win column after experiencing disappointing losses this past week. Our pick is already in for this one. Coming in, ranked 6 with a big win last week over Reynolds Wrap, it's a game the Bubba had to have. If the Bubba could get a nice winning streak going, this team could be sneaky, sneaky good. With Isaac Rice and his sack in town this week, the Bubba can't let this one get away if he wants to stay in the hunt. We're taking the Bubba in a good old-fashioned slugfest, 166 to 132. The Bubba can get above 500 with this one. And that right there is your Week 5 Hambone Hurry Up. Tonight, our featured story starts with the first place Wig Splitter and GM Bo Chandler. No one saw this coming, folks, and after a 6-8 finish each of the past 2 seasons, nobody, I mean nobody, had this organization on the radar leading up to the 2023 season. With one subtle gesture during the 2022 draft by GM Bo Chandler, a gesture that was so subtle, other GMs simply disregarded it as it was a typical night of alcohol for GM Chandler. But not so fast. This disgusting gesture changed this organization's course and set this team on an upward trajectory, who now finds itself atop of the Hambone League. What is now one of the most famous gestures in all of sports. During the 2023 Hambone draft, GM Bo Chandler approached the draft podium, raised his hands in the air, and did something so vulgar and shocking, even Andrew Dice Clay would have taken notice. He did what we now know as the wig splitter and changed the course of his organization for many moons from now. What we are about to show you is not appropriate for all ages. Viewer discretion is advised, ladies and gentlemen. If you have small children, we do ask that you take a moment to cover their eyes. Fans are now doing the wig splitter while stopped at red lights, at games before kickoff, after every touchdown, in restaurants, schools, bus stations, and recently we received a video from as far as Paris, France. How far can this go, you ask? The wig splitter phenomenon appears to have gone viral with no end in sight anytime soon. It appears to be here to stay, folks, and the wig splitter appears to be trending around every single corner. It's Bo Chandler's world, and the rest of us are now just living in it. When we come back, we'll have our power ranking expert discuss the best of the rest and what they'll need to do to get out of the cellar and back in the field of play before it's too late.
Hi folks, I'm Frankie Flight. I want you to check out Hoot Wireless next to Subway, Equipment Highway, right here in Moultrie. Tell your family, friends, and neighbors to come in and check us out. Check out all our plans. That and much more. Hoot Wireless. Hoot Wireless.
Hi, I'm Lady Jock. Come in and check out Julio. He'll hook you up right here. Hoot Wireless.
Hoot Wireless. Hoot Wireless.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Julio with Hoot Wireless. Come and check us out. We got anything you need as far as wireless goes.
Hoot Wireless. Don't forget to check out Hoot Wireless next to Subway, Equipment Highway, right here in Moultrie. Hoot Wireless.
Welcome back to the show. Tonight, we have longtime power rankings expert with Roar News, Otis Gomer, to discuss the bottom half of the league, what changes need to be made, and if it's time to throw in the towel for some of these teams. Welcome to the show, Otis. Let me start by asking you, top to bottom, who's the best of the rest in the Hambone League?
I'm glad to be on, Trey Bingo. Say hello to the bad guys. This team is still a top threat. I wouldn't be surprised if the bad guys are back on top by your next episode. With Jonathan Taylor set to return, I promise you, Trey Bingo, there's not a team in the league that wants this smoke. Tiger Kings is still my favorite to win the 2024 championship, and that's a fact, Jack. Somebody out there is named Jack. Here's hoping. I'll take the Trash Hawks at number 2, pal. With Kamara coming back and Barkley getting healthy, the Trash Hawks could make some noise. You people know what noise sounds like. Their weakest link right now is GM Jacob Gould and his roster management. This joker can't remember to change his lineup each week. What's the deal with these Jacobs and their roster management? Have you ever met a Jacob and known that your name is Jacob? I know I haven't. Yes, yes, and yes. At number 3, I've got Isaac Rice and his sack. I gotta be honest, I thought this team was left for dead when the season started. But this organization is scrappy. I'm not going to say the sack will make the playoffs, but this team could rain on some teams' parade this season. Oh, and they beat the Murph Munchers for the 3rd time in a row. I haven't been this disappointed since I found out my daughter was a stripper. Why doesn't she call anymore? I mean, how do you go 1-3 with this roster? I can't defend this team anymore. Next time I come on, I'll tell you how I really feel about Reynolds Wrap. I'm just disgusted right now. Not as disgusted as I was when I found out my other daughter got a job in retail. Why don't we talk anymore? She still lives at my house. At number 5, I'm going with Deej and Thevo Davis. GM Deej is as desperate as a fat girl on prom night. And you know what's worse than that, Trey Bingo? There doesn't seem to be any help on the way. Reminds me of that time that guy, I don't care who he was, got stranded out in the ocean and there was nobody around to rescue him. I'm trying to think of something good to say. I'll just move on. Bragg's big balls ain't so big. Hey, this guy has a good roster, and that's a fact, Jack Nicholson? Ooh, this could be interesting if I'm talking to Jack Nicholson. But his roster management reminds me of that Chad Morris guy. It's way too competitive of a league to mismanage your roster this badly each week. Of your out there, Bragg's big balls. Get it together, man. You know how the saying goes. I mean, I don't know how the saying goes, but you know how the saying goes, okay? I gotta go get a drink, but see you around, bub.
Thank you for coming on today, Otis. That was Otis Gomer with Roar News, folks. And that will be our first episode of 2024 for the Hambone Show. Catch us next time as we look to keep you updated on the latest news in the 2024 Fantasy Football Hambone League. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this broadcast. Until we meet again, GMs, until we meet again.